We do some news stuff on this show.
Yeah, a little bit, you know.
We follow the latest and greatest and offer our totally unbiased opinions.
Sure.
I say that jokingly, of course. This is opensource.com. Build an open source project using this essential advice.
Right.
Uh, this is an article that I was checking out earlier, and it's kind of a beginner article, and that's fine. Like, not everybody is old farts like us that have been in the industry forever, and they need a quick on ramp to things. So I thought this
Right.
was a good article, and it not only is it good for beginners, it's also a good like back to basics for people that think they're not beginners anymore. So besides the quick introduction to what open source is, there's some really good advice in here for more veteran users as well. So it talks about like what all the aspects of a branch in just a GitHub or open source Git like project follows, like who are the creators, maintainers, like these are all things that you kind of, if you're going to have a successful like open source project that you're building, you want to have your ducks in a row ahead of time before
Hmm.
you start pushing stuff up to GitHub. Like
Yep.
who's going to maintain this thing? Who are your contributors? Who's going to use this thing? Can you get sponsors? So this is like a good like attack plan that you can use. So I like the way this is all documented out.
Hmm.
This
Yep.
also talks about something that like I've never myself thought of until after the fact. So these are good things to think of before you start pushing code up.
Sure.
What are the licenses? Do you have a code of conduct for your contributors, forums, places where people can talk about things, or even um, how the product can be used, that type of stuff.
Right.
Um, and then outlines how to contribute.
Hmm.
What is a security plan?
Hmm.
How am I going to handle issues and bug reports? Like this is a really good just outline of everything that you need, and then it goes into like phases of actually building and publishing
Yeah.
that new open source project. So this is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, my team has a lot of experience doing this. We maintain approximately 30 or so repos that are public
Mm-hmm.
on GitHub. GitLab, by the way, does a great job of this as well. So they both have project templates for you to get started. It's really easy to get started with this. Back in the day, it was like nothing, but now these are sort of nice experiences for you to get started with this stuff. Some of the things that we care about are, when you get started, how do you build the project?
Mm-hmm.
How do you actually go from build to running software and testing? Um, what are the actions involved as part of the build pipeline? So if you submit a PR, what happens then? These and other
Yeah.
processes you need to outline, and it really helps because when you're maintaining a product, especially as a sole owner, automating a lot of this stuff is going to be vital. If you don't automate this stuff, you're going to be constantly handballing task to task, trying to, oh yeah, that's right, I have to do this, I have to do that. And you can set these things up, and you don't have to boil the ocean. You can do step by step. So you can say, all right, first things first, I'll create some issue templates for first time contributor.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do a template for a general issue, and then okay, I'll submit that. Great, done. Now let me focus on the actions. So when I receive a pull request, or if I get a new issue, what do I want to do? Do I trigger a notification? Do I do a build? Do I have checks and balances in my build pipeline to say, all right, we'll only accept the PR, and we has to go through all these stages first. It has to obviously compile, it has to run tests, etc. But once you get these things automated, then your velocity can go really quick relative to the project itself. So these are, I would say, if anything you take away from this, try to automate as much as possible, because as an open source maintainer, which I am one, and it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of work of just dealing with the community onslaught of requests and issues and all that, and that's all good. That's a sign of a successful project, but you don't certainly want to give the appearance of something that isn't being cultivated.
Yeah. If you want people to contribute, more to your point, you need to include a good documentation of how to install,
Right.
run, compile the thing
Yep.
that it
Yep.
is. I've run into this before trying to help a project where I could not compile it to run tests on it
Yeah.
after I wrote a bunch of code for it. And then I pinged somebody and they're like, yeah, it's, part of this internal process that we have. Let me try to unpack it for you. And then they're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. And
Yeah.
then they like contacted somebody else. And then by the end of it, it just fell through a crack. And then the
Yes.
source code just sitting there, not
Yes.
doing anything. So make
Yes.
sure that people can actually run the thing and it's not some proprietary like CI/CD build thing that nobody on the outside of the fence can get to. So yeah, it's good guidelines to follow.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
I normally save these for the end, but we'll do them up front this time.
Okay.
I've got some AR VR articles this week that I thought were
Oh, good.
pretty
Just what I
interesting.
wanted.
Your favorite? Nothing too
Yes.
trolly this week. Honestly, I just couldn't find anything bizarre. I think I burned that candle at both ends last week when I found the mouth covered face covering thing. These are more on the opposite side of things. These are making life less intrusive. So at Meta, they've figured out how to do some type of full body tracking with just the headset and the controllers.
So they recreated an Xbox Connect. Congratulations.
Yeah, but it's on your face, John. Your favorite place to put things.
Sure.
Now, what's nice about this, you used to have these are IR emitters, I think. But you used to have like cameras on the outside tracking you to make this type of stuff happen. I don't know how they're getting from the headset to tracking feet and legs, but for
probably LiDAR or some combination of
they've got some kind of sensor on there. It's using existing Quest hardware too, and it's doing some sort of machine learning to help with this. But it's able to pick up your foot, and I don't know like how it's getting like at the back of his leg and foot back here, but hey, if they're able to pull this off, I mean that's a good advancement in their tracking tech, and maybe we'll have legs and feet in VR soon. That would actually be really nice.
No comment.
I know you don't play these things, but it's very awkward to look down and have no torso in the middle of a VR game.
Or you could just not play. No worry about it.
I want to do things I cannot do on this earth, John.
Right. Like look at yourself. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. Look at my own feet. All right. So there is a tool that I think is really cool. Always has been. Works off of machine learning and augmented reality. Google Lens. So Google Lens. Let's see if we can zoom in on this a little bit. I love how when you zoom in the browser, it gets smaller. The ads. Look at the ads. Yeah, that's what we need. So that's about as big as I can get this image. Google Lens, if you haven't tried it, it's totally cool. If you see something in the real world that you want to translate, you can
I've used this, by the way,
over it. Yeah. Use your camera over it, and it will overlay kind of like it used to do like a background that matched the color of the object that you're pointing at. So if it was like a stop sign, it would match the red color. So it would convert that stop sign from whatever language to your native language, and then make it look like it actually is sitting on that sign in real 3D space, right? They've upped the ante, and somehow they've got it blurring out the background to where it's seamless.
Yeah.
And looks exactly like, this is like the smart fill that Adobe has in Photoshop, and kind of like the pseudo green screen stuff that you get in Teams and Zoom. Like they're using some type of technology like that and then using text over the top of it. So this is even better than it was before.
Yeah, typically the way you'll implement that is you'll take a radius around the pixel, and you'll say, what is the average color around this radius, and then you'll use that as the background blur.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they've actually shortened that radius all the way down to the actual text, or they're utilizing alpha channels. So they're able to detect whether or not this is actual text, replace it, and then just mask it on top.
Yeah, they've got to be doing some advanced masking type of thing because, let's see if I can, yeah, it will not let me zoom any more than
You
this.
probably right-click on the
Because-
image, say copy
open
image
new
address.
tab.
Yes.
So there we
I
go.
would-
That's a little
yeah.
bit better. So this
Yeah.
is kind of like the pixel related thing. You're like, okay, you know, around this area we've got some browns. We blocked in a
Correct,
big
yes.
brown block. What they're
Yes.
doing now, though, in my opinion, they're probably taking and wiping this whole thing clean, where the text is, and then re-overlaying the text on top of it.
Yep.
So they're doing that content-aware fill. If you've ever seen that in Photoshop,
Yes,
like
it's
you
awesome.
can literally take something, or
Yep.
you know, another good analogy is my Google Pixel has. I'm sure Apple has the same exact function, but you can take a photo and it will show you where all the people are in your photo, and you can tap a button and erase all of the people from your photo. So I think they're probably using something like that, but in this case, instead of removing people from the photo, they're removing text from the photo, then overlaying the brand new text that it translated on top. So you get this seamless experience. Pretty interesting, and it's very handy if you're traveling abroad. So we've used this in Bulgaria before. I think you might have been there, John. Some of the translations back then, couple years back, this is probably about 5 years ago, they come in a little weird. Like I remember going to a restaurant, and the actual translation it probably should have said for the menu at the restaurant was chicken skewers cooked on a barbecue grill, something of that nature, and it translated the Bulgarian version of what I just said to chicken on a saber cooked in a furnace.
Glorious Chicken
Yes.
announces new campaign too. Yes.
And I was like, I can't order this because no matter how good this is, it cannot meet the description of like a dude walking in with a giant, like I'm picturing like a saber. From like the Knights of Arabia, and like chicken like just jammed on it that has been cooked in a furnace. And I'm like, there's no way this is going to meet my expectations. You might get that at a Brazilian
steakhouse, actually.
Yeah, that is true. I've been to some of those. They're too good. All right. Google Maps, more augmented reality stuff. This is actually something that I find pretty handy. We had this on the Windows Phone like 10 years ago. It was really nice then too.
All right.
But I digress. Actually, the Windows Phone was a nice idea, but there were some limitations to it. Like they've done better at integrating the signage into this image. Let's try this in a new tab again. There we go. That's better. Like they actually like float above the building. Like I remember the problem with the one on the Lumia phones was like you would have like the actual sign of the building in the real world, like with the virtual sign like covering over it where you couldn't tell where the building was supposed to be.
Just get out of the way.
Yeah. So this is nice. This is a feature that's actually been available for some time, but it's been rolled out a little bit to some users. You know, it's kind of trickled out so they could beta test it. This is now in full release, so everybody should have access to this now. And basically, you have Google Maps on your phone, and then if you tilt your phone upright and view the street through it versus just looking down at it while you walk, it will turn your camera on and give you this overlay of things. And it's really actually nice to have to navigate through the city. I think it's also healthier as far as like you're not putting yourself in danger of like walking into traffic as much because you're not looking down at a phone and trying to, glance back up and down to try to figure out where you are. It gets your focus. You're not going to run into people or traffic or things like that because this is overlaying on top of a real live feed through your camera as opposed to like a still image or a still map that you're going to trip over somebody or something walking around. So
it's like Skyview for iOS. It's when you want to see constellations, you point your camera at the stars, and it will tell you, oh, that's Jupiter, not a star. That's the Hubble Space Telescope. This is where the sun is relative to the night sky. It's like through the Earth. You have to dig down there to get to it. And I like the idea here. It's smart. It's intelligent. The app design here is intelligent. Think about, you don't really care what's in the sky, but it is a nice canvas to consider drawing to. So as an app developer, the idea is like, look, above, I don't know, 70 degrees maybe, from zero being, you're face down on the floor, or actually in this case beyond 90. So it'd be like 125 maybe. So if you consider facing the floor 0 and you go tilt up, sorry, let me do the hand gesture. So that's 0. That's 0. That's 90. That's 120, whatever, 145. Beyond that, you've got an empty sky of canvas that you could draw to. So it's actually quite smart on the app engineer's side to actually do it that way. It's like, listen, beyond this level of angle, we can draw whatever we want. So it's kind of like annotations. When you the way I've seen it done is you see it in those Office 2025 videos where they say this person's name is Ed, and this person's name is John, and it annotates with a legend basically. So it's the same idea. I like it.
Yep, and they're adding additional stuff to it as well, like search nearby, and all the things that you find in maps. So you can have it kind of in this overview.
Makes sense.
So, happy with that one. That's cool.
Just don't put it on my face.
If you like that, you might like this one, John. This is in the same like realm or idea of this, and that is gamifying your urban environment.
Okay.
So the idea here is kind of like Pokemon Go.
I was just going to say, yeah, this looks vaguely familiar.
Yeah, so it's taking and turning your urban environment into like an interactive environment.
It's fine.
Fair
enough.
AR bits. So you could, maybe scanning a QR code is not the best, but that's one way of doing it. Getting some sort of app on your phone or browser that's directed to a certain portal.
You're providing context. These are like smart street signs. So if you have a phone, you can get more than just the name of the street. You can get its history or whatever.
Well, this one you can do more than that. You can, I guess, write to the mural. That's the virtual mural that's on the wall.
Oh, I see.
So you can add your own text.
Just what we wanted. Virtual graffiti.
Virtual graffiti. So you can interact. You could leave your neighbors a nice message.
Yeah, this is going to be good. This won't be exploited at all by the youth.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure they're all like honest and friendly messages.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're all very honest and friendly messages. So you can leave things.
This won't get abused at all.
Messages around.
Right.
Chat with the crane. So some of these are they're, I guess, chatbots that interact with the object as well.
Yes.
So there's that. So you can.
I don't mind this idea. I don't mind this so long as it's unidirectional. The second you start getting the public to contribute their ideas, I'm like, nope. The public cannot be trusted.
So you can basically text it, I think, and say, tell me about this historical site, and it'll chat back to you.
Yes.
So that's pretty cute. I like that.
Yes.
There's that one. This one, I guess you download an app, scan a QR code, whatever, and then when people are going up and down the stairs, it plays music based on where they're stepping.
Okay.
So the idea here was it is they're trying to get people to take the fitter option, which is the actual stairs.
Yep.
Versus like jumping on the escalator.
It's amazing how they think of us, the government, this is how we'll solve the problem of not too many inactivity. We'll get people to play on stairs,
Yeah. So the whole article is just based on like, these are ideas that places are implementing to try to engage with people that live in the community or visiting, that type of thing through augmented reality. This one, by the way, is in Stockholm, at a subway station. There's a bunch of different ones that are kind of outlined in here, and it tells you, they've got one where people are inclined to tweet pothole information to the city. So there's some sort of points to be had by tweeting potholes so they can figure out where they are and repair them. It's thinking outside the box. I think it's fun. I like the idea. It's cool.
All right.
So gamifying the environment to collect feedback from people and tourists and whatnot.
I like it.
This one I think is yours, John. Closing a 30 pixel gap between web and native. What is this?
Yeah, so this is from the Windows team. As folks know, one of the ways in which you can build apps today is through utilizing a combination of web and native. These are known as progressive web apps, or PWAs. And the idea is that you have a web view, as articulated here, that you can draw content to in angle brackets, CSS, and JavaScript. And then the native app itself, as a contrast, has a little bit more available to it. So in particular, the title bar, menus, logos, etc. And for the longest time, never shall the two meet. It turns out that there's a lot of work that's been done around this area, specifically around the Capabilities API, which is a W3 spec. And what they're proposing with the Web Capabilities project is that you can expand now the web content that is in a native app and a PWA up to the title bar, the logo, menus, etc., which was always sort of like verboten, Mordor, dragons lie here, don't go here. And so what they're doing now is, as part of this work, they're actually expanding out that capability. So they're closing, in a sense, the pixel gap between what a traditional native Windows application looks like and that PWA is capable of. And so this
This didn't make a whole lot of sense to me with this screenshot. I don't know if this is the best screenshot they could have used.
It's a contrast. It's like, this is what you can do today. And then if you scroll down, this is what you can do potentially.
They should have added a little more context here. If they would have taken a menu bar and put it down here in some of this red space, this would have made more sense to me. So when I looked at this, I got it, because if I'm a web developer and I put my menu up here where the normal menu on a desktop app would reside.
Yes. Well, the problem is that those things are not consistent across. Those things are not consistent across OSs. So as you know, depending upon a windowing environment you're on Linux or on Mac, the menu bar is actually contained as part of Finder in the top. So it's tricky, right? So you need a way in which to express that. And so this is the proposal for doing this via the Web Capabilities API and being able to. Go ahead.
I'm going to get on a soapbox here. I absolutely hate the unified menu system on Linux and Mac.
Okay.
I hate it. It's so obnoxious. You have your app, if you take it down, off the screen, you're still up here with the menu. You still like, why is my menu way off in the ether? How does this work, especially on like ultra wide monitors? Like, what if I've got multiple things open? Like, I don't know. It seems off to me.
Fair enough.
Maybe it's because I'm coming from a context where I've always had it, but this is where your menu belongs, over here.
Okay.
Don't go sticking it like way up in this up top left-hand corner. Leave it alone, please.
Okay. Anyway, this is a way in which you can do it. So you can utilize now the title bar area CSS variables that are now available. And you can specify these and start defining some of these elements. And so they provide some examples. And I thought this was a nice evolution of PWAs.
Yeah, I like
We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, let's see if they can, they can come to an agreement on where to put this, considering we can't have agreement where to put cancel or close buttons or menus in each OS. But this
you need to be different. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, there's probably some stupid patent that says, like, if it's here, and you owe Microsoft $10 per whatever. So we're going to put it on the left-hand side.
All right.
There's dumb stuff out there like that. Trust me. That may not be a real thing in this scenario, but there's stupid patents like that. All right.
Speaking of stupid patterns.
.NET. I think we actually talked about this last week.
We did, yes.
We did. This is
we did a little bit.
This is a new article, so this dives deeper into what we talked about last week was the Asp Net Release Candidate, where they alluded to this. This is a deep dive into a single feature rather than like everything that's coming in the release candidate.
Yep.
So I talked to Alyssa about this on her show Tuesday, and this is really pretty cool. They've taken the .NET on WebAssembly bits and taken those away from Blazor as a dependency. So you don't need to do Blazor anymore to do .NET on WebAssembly.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah, up until .NET 7, so as of now, until this release candidate shipped, you had to do Blazor WebAssembly if you wanted to do any .NET WebAssembly.
Yes.
But people were like, hey, I want to do this without Blazor. How can I do that? So now they built .NET on WebAssembly. And Pavel Severa, hope I said that right, he's created a couple samples on how this works. And we have, here, I'll go to the live project. That's what I wanted to do. We have the
Classic
obligatory
to do. Yes, the to-do list.
Which is part of to-do MVC. So this is not ASP.NET MVC, but the MVC pattern.
Yeah, this has been around forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it literally has everything from forever in here. So
yeah, we did something. I remember we did something for this with Kenda UI actually.
Yeah. Is that in here on this?
I think it's on the labs, or I think it's on the labs tab. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go. Labs. Yeah. So there are a ton of these. Maybe that's how I overlooked. I didn't see a Blazor one because Blazor is not an MVC pattern, so I don't know if that's why. But anyway, this is where it belongs, is to this to-do MVC family. And they implemented this with .NET with no Blazor UI. This is all vanilla JavaScript. And .NET on the back end. So when you dive into the code, what you'll find out is everything you see here that is UI based. So all the HTML stuff and the interactions with like clicking on something, binding to click events, that type of stuff is done in JavaScript. But managing the state of this and defining what is active or complete,
right?
All of that, all the business logic is written in C#. And if you look at the code for this, jump into the code for this guy here, and he outlines this in the article, by the way, but I dove in and did my own exploration of this. You'll find a model, a view, and a controller file in C#, as well as a JavaScript file that accompanies it. And you'll find a lot of gibberish like this. And what this is the view portion of it. And you find this JS import attribute in C#. What this JS import does is it says, this is the JavaScript function that is being exported by this JavaScript module, and I'm going to bind that to this method.
Yes, I'm going to create a JavaScript callable wrapper, what we used to call a COM callable wrapper back in the day. And these and p invoke, it's all a similar pattern, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. So whenever we have our view and somebody clicks, or when it initializes, then it calls this init function, which then marshals out to JavaScript to make that initialization happen. And then when you, for example, click on an item, like you clear to do, this gets invoked.
Yes.
Now on the store side, this is like all of the storage or persistence for the app. This is where a lot of the .NET lives, because this is all not UI based stuff. This is all business logic stuff. So they wrote it all in .NET. So you have a list of to-do items, and it also uses local storage, which is a JavaScript thing. So there's a small snippet of code in here that does that. But all the heavy lifting is being done here by .NET. And then at the very bottom, you see this JS import again for those get and set local storage bits, so they can call out to JavaScript to actually persist the stuff in local storage in the browser. So it's a pretty cool example. And there's another one that does a little machine learning stuff with tracking your hands and defining where your hand position is. So if you want to check that one out, that is up on the dev blogs at Microsoft.com.
So it's nuts and gum together at last.
Yes, exactly. Use .NET from any JavaScript app in .NET 7. So you could take this and, for this to do MVC example, oops, I didn't have it open. There we go. You could take this vanilla JavaScript here and replace it with like Vue.js.
Yep.
And have .NET on the back end.
So not only do you have to know, not only do you have to know now angle brackets, JavaScript, and CSS, you now need to know .NET as part of this. So, anyways, whatever.
there might be some cool utility apps that you might be able to build that are browser based. That maybe report runners or whatever it is the enterprise needs, and you want to do it in .NET and not have to bother with JavaScript. Somebody could open the browser, press a button, report type of thing. And
I envision very specific use cases for this. I don't see this as a generalized approach to building web apps. I think you're still going to stick with your frameworks, your JavaScript frameworks, your CSS libraries, etc. But what you rightly point out, I think this will be for specific workloads that is difficult to model using JavaScript. That would be a good, strong candidate for .NET. I think that would be a good thing.
I would say if it's not heavily UI based, but you have a lot of business logic to run,
right?
That's probably your primary candidate for it, because the minute you have to touch the UI, you're going to be writing a bunch of JavaScript anyway.
Yeah.
As we saw with this example, if you dive into this, like the Vue is the least C# heavy thing and the most JavaScript heavy thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Managing the to-do list internals, however, is all .NET.
Gotcha.
So it's a good example. This is Doom, John. Is this
where's the filler?
The transition.
Come on. You gotta still do it. You got it on hand there?
Yeah. It's time for another Can It Play Doom. And this time it looks like we're playing Doom in WebAssembly. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, this is Doom 3 running in WebAssembly on the browser, which is bananas and awesome at the same time. So you're getting 60 frames per second. There's a long intro here with this, but you get a sense of kind of what's in there. So, but you can load in the options page. If you hit the backtick key, for example, you can do all the native integration. So it's got mouse and keyboard support. This is just bonkers. So, you can run this on your phone. Like, come on,
I would love to see somebody try to run this on their phone. So I've tried this ages ago. This has been around for some time. And sorry, it's really loud. I need to get it to mute. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't hear myself talk. I tried this before, and I don't remember it running at 36 frames per second. So I don't know if it was the device that I was running this on.
I think you'd probably need a newer. Yeah, you'd probably need a newer device. But yeah, you can run this on conventional phones today, I think.
The performance must have gotten way better, because this kind of churned a little bit at first when I tried it.
Sure.
But it's very cool to see this running like literally in the browser, on browser as the platform. So we're not talking about like a Unity plugin or anything crazy. It's literally running in what's the 3D engine on the browser again? WebGL. Is it WebGL?
I don't know if they're targeting WebGL here, because obviously remember that all the lighting, all the shading, all that stuff is running within WebAssembly. So it's diverting to WebAssembly to do its drawing.
Maybe that's why it's faster now, because this used to be like a WebGL thing. And I was getting like 30 frames per second on it when I tried it last time. So I think WebGL was deprecated too, wasn't it? I'm trying to remember. Let's give it a look. WebGL, because I remember something about it being deprecated. I don't see any messages here, but yeah. But it's the full game with full sound and lighting and all the whole
mouse and keyboard support, etc. Yep. So if you got a case of nostalgia, this is one of the places to go. So.
And all the technical details can be found on their webpage as well. All but an SSL certificate. GLSL shaders, OpenGL. A subset, or using WebGL, subset of OpenGL. So it is still using WebGL, it looks like.
Well, they says the port is functional. The rework backend renderer using the WebGL subset, yes, OpenGL ES2. And GLSL shaders, which are, shaders come in a couple of languages I've seen. So I haven't written a lot of them, to be honest. I've written one and I barely got it working. So they're very, very cryptic at times. So there you go.
Yeah,
fun stuff.
It's definitely running better. Must be, maybe there's hardware acceleration now that we didn't have before or something. But it's definitely gotten a lot better.
So yeah,
restarted the whole game. So we will.
No saves. That's true nightmare mode. No saves.
Yeah. .NET Conf is coming, folks. Can you believe this is literally just a few days away?
I can.
This means that the release of .NET is coming as well, usually. I don't know if they've officially said that. One big news day for .NET 7. Everything you can do with the latest release. But they still, I don't think, say this is officially the release date of .NET 7, even though it's implied. So this is literally just like a week and a half away. Or is it exactly 2 weeks? We're splitting hairs here, but a little bit less than 2 weeks away. So November 8th through the 10th. Keynote starts on November 8th.
Right.
Then they have virtual attendee party, and this is where it gets crazy, John. From 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock, we have all of the teams at Microsoft present their content. These are usually half-hour sessions, so that is a lot of sessions. I looked at the last one for last year. It's like 86 sessions total, half-hour sessions. So that's like 43 hours of content.
Only?
Yeah. So all the PMs and all of the teams at Microsoft will be presenting for the first half of that day. Then the community picks up, and it's like a marathon. Like the community picks up and we run half-hour sessions until literally 1700 the next day. So from 5 p.m. to 5 p.m., we are doing .NET sessions in 30-minute increments. So lots of .NET content coming as part of the .NET conference. We don't have sessions up here yet. I'm sure those will be coming out soon. I know they're still doing some the choosing of the sessions from the call for speakers. So that I can't imagine that being too much longer before they post that information up here as well.
Right.
So looking forward to that. So make sure you click save the date here, tweet it out to your friends. There's also local attendee parties that you can get involved with. These are always fun. So you go watch the live stream at a meetup, that type of stuff. And,
always a good time. Those are great. If you have a chance to go to one of these, I would highly recommend. They're a lot of fun.
You can get the event in a box on GitHub.
This is not your Windows 7 launch party. It's a lot more fun.
Presentation templates and things that you can print and that type of stuff. So keep an eye out for this. Try to see if you can find one in your area. If not, maybe host one.
Yes.
You never know. You might be able
to
find somebody to sponsor some pizza, that type of thing.
Yeah.
You should reach out to your local recruiters. Say, I've got 50 devs that are coming to Look
Pay
at
for
this
the
thing.
food.
We need a space. We need some
Yeah.
food. Are you down? A lot of
Yes.
times recruiters will eat that up. So yeah,
You
that's
should. Yeah. If you're listening to this, you the viewer, if you're watching this, you're like, how can I get involved? Post this thing. This is an awesome way to do community feedback and interaction. All this is great. I did this back in the day when I was just getting started in my career in Melbourne back in 2000, 2001. A buddy of mine, Mitch Denny, and I started the Melbourne Data User Group, and we did all kinds of things like this. It's a great way to get involved, and you meet lots of really cool people. You make lots of contacts. Who knows? Maybe your next job, etc.
Yep, definitely. If
Mm-hmm.
you go on their website, fill out this form, you get like a box of swag to hand out to your people that are coming. And, you'll get stickers and that sort of thing. So
Awesome.
it's always fun.
Awesome.
Good deal. All right. Thanks again, folks. And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Have a good. Bye-bye.